at the end of it all, those who is going to mingle with, who are going to offer their supposed strategy, they will be offering him Tifnubu's strategy, Tifnubu's idea of what an opposition should be like, on and on like that. So the rest of you, right, would then be possibly, willing to, that they are going to need to validate the coming rigging. So if you want to go into any election, apart from this, your coalition that you are forming, if you want to go into any election, you can't go into any election in the current setting. No, you can't. Except if you're just deceiving yourselves, willing to waste your resources and even people's lives. So if opposition that cannot shut down the entire contraption demand for the change in some of these laws that will possibly, guide your election, there's no point in going into any goddamn election at all. But that's for me. That's why I won't go into any. But for those who are preparing to, some of the tidbits of information you need to have an idea what your 2027 charade is going to look like. And I will be here to keep record again. This morning, the Akpabiole Senate, they have taken their shenanigans to another level. Yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, when NATASHA reported Akpabiole to the Inter-Parliamentary Union of the United Nations, right? Telling them about her suspension, where she was not even given any fair hearing to defend, to possibly like present evidence of allegations and what have you against Akpabiole before she was muzzled out and suspended for 6 months. They sent a lady called Kafila Ogbara. Kafila Ogbara is from the Koshofe local government or Koshofe constituency in Lagos, one of the Tifnubu's, stooges. She was sent, she's a member of the House of Representatives, not a member of the Senate. So how could you send somebody from another chamber to go and defend the action of the upper chamber, right, where she is not a member of? But she did go to the New York. She wasn't allowed to address the, the room, but she eventually delivered a prepared speech, speech. She delivered that to the press, saying that NATASHA wasn't suspended because of her sexual harassment allegation. She was suspended for being unruly, insubordinate, and what have you, right? So Ogbara said other things just to kind of like protect Akpabiole. Today, at the National Assembly Senate, decided to move a motion for vote of confidence, to move for the vote of confidence in Akpabiole, the Randy Akpabiole, the sexual assaulter, the predator Akpabiole. All of this to cover up something. Now, there was no allegation, there was no investigation carried out. When NATASHA submitted a petition, they said she didn't do it right, and she couldn't submit a petition in her own name, so she had to go and do it right. The following day, she represented the petition, which rather than them to the Senate Committee on Ethics or what have you to take this petition from her, they just came up with the suspension of this senator and said, listen, we're not going to take, number one, your petition is dead on arrival. We're not going to look into it. Then number two, we are going to punish you as well for daring to, number one, disobey Akpabiole. Then number two, to accuse him of sexual harassment. So there was no investigation. There was nothing, just suspension, a long raid where she was found guilty of a crime she didn't commit, so to say. So today, in this effort, apart from the fact that they are mobilizing more and more people, paying them 500 naira to gather together and say, NATASHA is a blackmailer, NATASHA is this, NATASHA is that, Akpabiole is innocent, NATASHA must be suspended by the poorest of the poor that they picked up on the streets to defend them. The desperation is so massive that you can tell enough that these guys are not only just shameless, right? They are pure, like, they are more evil than you can describe. They have so much to cover. They have so much to cover up, so to say. So today, they moved the motion to say the Senate has a very strong confidence in Akpabiole, meaning they are very much with the predator. They are very much with Akpabiole, the sexual harasser. They are very much with Akpabiole to protect Akpabiole, the assaulter, as well, and punish whoever comes up to accuse him of anything. But let's first go back to that New York where Kafilat Ogbara prepared their speech on the matter. She is not a member of the Senate, but she said she was sent to go and deliver this message at the United Nations.
I have been mandated by the Nigerian National Assembly to present a response to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's speech delivered yesterday at the 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. In response to the call by the President of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU Right Honorable Tulia Axen, to hear both sides of the matter, I have received a letter from the Nigerian Senate in my capacity as the chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development of our Parliament in Nigeria, and the parliamentarian representing Nigeria at this conference. In the spirit of transparency and fairness, I now wish to read this letter from the Senate in its entirety, and it is crucial that all perspectives are heard and that all aspects of the situation are duly considered. And the next voice you'll be hearing from here will be the voice of the Senate leader of the Senate, Senator Akpabiole Bamidele, CON, the leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended for gross misconduct and unruly behavior, and not as a result of allegation of sexual harassment or assault. The authority of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria firmly rebukes the deliberate misinformation and false narratives being circulated by certain media organizations regarding the six-month suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Let it be unequivocally stated that Senator Uduaghan was suspended solely for a persistent act of misconduct, blatant disregard for the provisions of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, and gross indiscipline, nothing more, nothing less. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. It has come to the attention of the Senate that some media reports are attempting to falsely suggest that Senator Uduaghan's suspension was due to allegations of sexual harassment. This is completely untrue, misleading, and a calculated attempt to distort the facts. If Senator Uduaghan had strictly followed our guiding principles, the Senate would have treated her petition based on merit in line with its practice, but she never obeyed the established practices of the institution where she was serving. The facts of the suspension. This is still the voice of the Senate leader. Senator Uduaghan's suspension was a decision of the Committee of the Whole Senate, following the submission of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges. The report found her guilty of violating sections 6.1 and 6.2 of the Senate rules and recommended her immediate suspension. The disciplinary action was a response to her repeated violations of legislative decorum, including 1. Refusing to sit in her assigned seat during plenary on the 25th February 2025, despite multiple pleas from the leadership and other ranking senators, an act of open defiance and disorderly conduct. 2. Speaking without being recognized by the presiding officer in clear violation of parliamentary practices and procedures on the 25th February 2025. 3. Engaging in unruly and disruptive behavior, obstructing the orderly conduct of Senate proceedings. 4. Making abusive and disrespectful remarks against the leadership of the Senate. 5. Defying and refusing to comply with the summons of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges mandated to investigate cases of misconduct. These actions represented a direct challenge to the authority of the Senate and a violation of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, that govern the business of the Senate and the conduct of its members. The disciplinary measure was therefore necessary and justified to restore order and uphold the integrity of the Senate of the country's foremost democratic institution. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. On the petition and allegations, contrary to the false claims being circulated, Senator Uduaghan was not suspended for making any sexual harassment or for submitting a petition. Her petition was rightfully discountenanced because it failed to meet the clear and established procedural requirements for submitting petitions to the Senate. The rules of the Senate apply to all members without exception, and no petition, regardless of its subject, can be considered if it does not follow due process. To suggest that a suspension was linked to a petition is not only a distortion of facts, but an intentional and malicious attempt to mislead the public. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Condemnation of misleading media reports. The Senate strongly condemns the irresponsible and unethical reporting by some media organizations that have deliberately twisted the facts to suit a false narrative. This coordinated misinformation campaign is nothing more than an attempt to politicize a disciplinary action that was strictly based on clear violations of Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. It is reckless, misleading, and a disservice to the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the whole world who deserve truthful and factual reporting. We therefore urge all foreign correspondents and responsible media houses to correct these misrepresentations and avoid propagating falsehoods that undermine the integrity of Nigeria's legislative process. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Conclusion. The Senate remains committed to upholding discipline, order, and parliamentary ethics. No senator, I repeat, no senator, regardless of status, gender, or political affiliation, is above the rules of the Senate. Senator Uduaghan's suspension was a direct consequence of her actions and nothing else. We urge the public and the media to disregard any false reports suggesting otherwise and to always seek the truth before spreading politically motivated narratives. Signed, Senator Bamidele Akpabiole, CON, Leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
So it's not, like I said, they sent her, and it's Akpabiole Bamidele that wrote the rebuttal. And since the IPU said they wanted to hear from the other side, maybe that is what they wanted to hear from the other side. by saying that because somebody disagrees with the sitting arrangement, you now suspended her for 6 months. Does that make any sense? Sit down there. Don't sit down there anymore. I'm moving you to that side. You have to go and sit down there. Say, no, I'm not moving. I'm staying here. It's okay, you are suspended for the next 6 months. Makes sense? We are also making sure that you are not going to collect all your salaries anymore. We are not going to give you your salary. We're going to take all your security. We're going to take away your cars. We're going to lock you out of your office. And we must never see you near the National Assembly again because I disagree with a seat. Makes sense? That is what they are proving. So today, the National Assembly, also was the arrowhead, because he knows that if anything should happen to Akpabiole, will stop benefiting. Will stop the benefits of over 200 million naira every month that he takes home as next to Akpabiole. Yeah, they will have to change the leader once Akpabiole is removed. Another person would have to kind of look for another house leader or something like that, and that can derail whatever it is they are using or will be using this Akpabiole Senate to achieve for Tifnumbu, like loans, grants, and some other illegalities that they will always legalize for Tifnumbu. So that is why they are seeing this NATASHA's face-off beyond what some of you are seeing it as. That's why they are not giving any room for investigation or what have you. They cannot allow it. Akpabiole will stop making this 220 million. That's how much he makes, by the way. For your information, that's how much Akpabiole makes. Akpabiole alone makes more than 500 million every month. For real. So you can go and do the math. And that is just being conservative with numbers, by the way. So this guy that makes half of what Akpabiole makes every month has so much money, have access to so much money, and that can stop because of this scandal. So it was the arrowhead who said that, they had to move a motion now, okay? A motion to make sure that we pass a vote of confidence. A vote of confidence in Akpabiole, the Randy Akpabiole. But here is one member of Tifnumbu's Aslikas also, who is a member of the Senate. I don't know where this guy is from, speaking on the matter. Listen to this. It can be irritating, by the way, but listen to this first.
Mr. Senate President, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ade Fadamsi from Osun East. My own is just bold talk as an elderly person. It seems as if we don't know where we are and who we are. Today you are number 3 in this country, which means all of us are that number 3. It's a serious upper layer of the whole nation, 109 out of 250 million people. So it carries what we call integrity. And for the past 2 weeks, the integrity has gone down just because of mere trivial matter of allocating seat and so on. We don't want to know what is undercurrent. God so kind, those people who push you to assist, they have confessed. And I have prayed for him that may God forgive him and Jubril for pushing you to have mercy on who. God even said, I will have mercy on who I will have mercy on. Not everybody. And it has even taught you a lesson. You have to look at the whole issue critically before you even act. Today, everywhere, including Berekete Radio, calling number 3 to come and explain things. Just a radio that we licensed. It's an insult. My own now is how to bring this integrity back. Once a damage is done, to bring it back, it's a long story. All of us must have to work hard within this period, we have to bring it back. As per the punishments attached, if I saw one of our leaders today sweating before channel, I said, issue of what? There's no other paper that. My own is that, how do we bring the integrity back?